To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Welcome to the Talk About the Magic podcast, where you'll find inspiration and encouragement tied together with the magic of Disney. Now, here's your host, Joseph Ballesteros.
What is going on, Magic Cheers? Welcome to another Talk About the Magic episode. It is Sunday. I'm excited that you've joined me today. Couple things happening. So recently, this past week, I put out a question for you guys, and I asked, is the daily, the Monday through Friday podcast a good idea? Because something that I forgot to do at the beginning of the year, because I was so gung-ho of creating, my New Year resolution. This is what I was going to accomplish. I forgot to ask you guys if that's something you actually wanted. So, Monday through Friday, I kind of realized something. I, of course, listen to my own podcasts. Not me personally. I mean, I listen to other people's podcasts, what I was trying to say. And this the past a week ago when I got sick for 2 weeks, I noticed something that I hadn't noticed before. I got sick. I hadn't been listening to any of the podcast episodes of the podcast I'm subscribed to. And finally, when I got better and I started feeling better and started listening again, I literally skipped maybe 2 episodes on each podcast because I had fallen so far behind. And I kind of came to the realization with my own podcast that how many people actually listen to it, or is it becoming more of a burden because, they aren't able to catch up? Like, they're listening to one, maybe they missed 2 days, they come back and there's 3 waiting for them. And it just, and by the time they listen to it, it's like either old news, it's not a big deal anymore, or, something to that extent. So it was interesting because I kind of came to that realization. I had to ask myself, well, what if, the listeners aren't really able to keep up and this is something they don't want? And so I put out a question on Twitter and Instagram and everything, and I got and I also sent it out to the mailing list with you guys, and I got a strong response in the most positive and uplifting way possible. I don't mean to say that to sound like it hurt my feelings or something. It was amazing the way you guys came in and responded, but a strong response saying, honestly, it's quite a bit to take in. It's there. I'm not the only podcast out there, and so there, it was honest answer saying, while I love the podcast, unfortunately, I don't get to hear every episode, and I don't want that. I really want you guys to be able to enjoy each show. So, I'm going back to the drawing board, so to speak, and you're not going to get the Monday through Friday podcast as of now, but. On the plus side, I'm working on some ideas that I think will hopefully be good, because I really do want to do a middle of the week podcast, because while I love doing this, Sunday episode, I like to get my Disney fix in, where I just talk about Disney and talk about some magic. So I got some ideas. I'm reaching out to some friends and seeing what we can do for another episode during the week. So that is why you're not seeing that Monday through Friday coming up anymore. It's not because I quit or anything like that. I'm not doing the Monday through Friday, but it's because I'm actually working on doing for another episode for during the week. So but that way you have Sunday and this new episode that I'm doing. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. In some other awesomeness news, I am able to speak today with Justin and Megan from Walts Wardrobe. These guys are fellow Texans, and what's funny to me is, I joked about it with them a little bit, saying how it's incredible how pretty close we are as far as story goes. It's like their version is just like what my wife and I are going through now, but they're so much younger and they're doing it now. So I think it's good in their case, because they're going to get to kind of, they're going to have more time is what I'm trying to say. So they got a 10-year jump on this. So I'm excited to talk with them because we go into a lot of details about their business and what they're doing, and talk about Megan and her career path, and then Justin and what he's going to be doing once Megan gets going with her career path. So I really want you guys to listen to this full episode. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Before we get into it, of course, if you want to support the show, head over to talkaboutthemagic.com/Amazon Magic. That is the best way to help out the show, in the sense that, you go to Amazon like normal, easy, but using my affiliate link helps out the show. Or you can head over to talkaboutthemagic.com/shop. If you go there, you're going to see some music. Very nervous to share it with you guys, but this is my true passion. So I thought, speaking to people like Justin and Megan, speaking to people, like I've had on the show from, Main Street Press and Big Fat Panda and, Lifestylers and Disney Lifestylers and Lou, they're all teaching me you got to stay true with who you are. And it's been a struggle for me personally, because I've kind of been in this weird situation thinking I need to be something I'm not, in the sense of like, I need to be that Disney guy. I need to be like a Lou Mangello. I need to be like a, Fat Panda. I need to be like a Main Street Press and make shirts and like Walts Wardrobe and make wardrobes and shirts and hats. And I kind of came to the realization, talking to everyone, that I need to be myself. And myself really is music. I mean, I have such a strong passion for it. I love to do it. It really just gets me, pumped and excited throughout the day. And so, that's what I'm going to be doing. You're going to be seeing more and more of that. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. I hope I don't alienate everyone. I hope you guys enjoy it and have fun listening to it. I'm very excited to share it with you guys. So, okay. I'll get off of that one. But yes, you can head over to talkaboutthemagic.com/shop. Check them out there. Some music there. But I will now get into the wonderful interview with Justin and Megan from Walts Wardrobe. Hello, Justin and Megan. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, thanks for having us.
I'm excited to have both of you guys on. Now, for the listeners who don't know, you guys are in charge of Walts Wardrobe. Walts Wardrobe, at least on Instagram, is what it's called. I guess it should be more specific. And you guys are doing some pretty cool stuff there. But let's go ahead and just get into kind of who Justin and Megan are for everybody who's listening.
Megan, you go first, I guess.
Hi, everyone. Well, I grew up in Houston, Texas, and I grew up going to Walt Disney World. So went constantly with my family every single summer for a good 7 years. So that's how my love for Disney came in. It was with my family. And then we stopped going for a little bit, which was sad. But, I had to focus on school too. So now I'm in nursing school, which has been very, very hard, but also rewarding, a lot of tears. And so that's basically what I do. I'm basically a Disney obsessed nursing student.
So you're going for LVN or RN?
RN, so BSN.
Oh, nice. So I told Justin, because, he told me about this, and I told him my wife actually just finished. She graduated RN school. It's tough, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, I love getting, Disney, fans are also in, the healthcare field, because I can just relate a little more to them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so, she had. I mean, I joke with Justin, but it's true. I mean, you have so much to focus on, and so this is going to be a fun conversation, because with her, she was very focusing on school. She didn't want to take on kind of a lot of different things, because she wanted to make sure she passed, and eventually she did. Because there were some little bumps along the way, but she was able to finally pass, and she's now officially an RN. So we're going to get into that, talking about kind of how you're able to juggle everything.
Yeah, Joseph, you and I are the same.
I know. I told my wife, her name's Carmen. I told her, I said, as soon as you told me that, I was like, immediately, there's a connection. I said, I know what he feels. I know his pain.
Exactly.
So how about you, Justin? How did you, not how did you, but give a little bit of a background of who you are, where you come from.
So I was actually born in California, raised in LA. So my mom and I grew up going to Disneyland. We've been through all of that, everything that Disneyland has gone through. Been through the opening of DCA. Skipped a couple days of school just to go to Disneyland. But I been in Houston now for about 10 years, and started studying engineering. And then I actually, when we started getting into Disney, it was like my dream goal to be an Imagineer. So I kept on looking for internships, whatnot, and but engineering did not pan out the way that I wanted it to. Basically, I did not pass. So I'm doing something else now, but I did retail for, I want to say, a good 6 years now, and all that retail knowledge has actually helped me with Waltz, which is great. And then Waltz is a good outlet for me for my creativity.
Now, yeah, I mean, to me, this is interesting. We had, which I'm sure you guys know, but we had, the Main Street Press on, and
Britt and Leo.
We love
yeah,
them.
yeah, and this to me is always interesting. This is something I didn't ask them, and I want to ask you guys. But before we get even deeper, what is it like to run a business like this when you're not close to the parks? I think about people like myself. I think about people like you and Britt and Leo, and then anyone else out there who is not close to the parks but love Disney and really want to try to, even if it's just a part-time income or something they want to really get deep into, they really want to try to expand on what they're creating and what they do. What is, how has it been, and what is some things that maybe you guys did to help you, get to where you are? Because over 19,000 followers is not an easy task. I mean, what's crazy? This is what I love about having people on this show, because the whole point of having you guys on is to get the listeners to understand that whatever their dream or goal is, it's possible to reach. It's possible to reach because you guys have done it. You guys are going toward your dream, and you're making it happen. And I laugh because I've had, you guys and, Big Fan Panda and Disney Lifestylers. And I'm like, you guys have way more, communication with your fans and participation from your fans than some of these social media gurus. Their account have 10,000. You guys have 19. So it's not to say numbers matter, but obviously you know what you're doing. You know how to do it right. And being that you're so far from Disney, you don't get to kind of use that, not to say as a crutch, but, as a way to help you because you're at the parks every single day. So what are some things that have helped you to kind of get to where you are?
So it definitely is kind of hard not being close to any of the parks, whether it be West Coast or East Coast. But I think it's just being really passionate about Disney itself, whether it's parks, whether it's movies, whether it's the music, and kind of incorporating that into your daily life. There's not a day where I don't drive to work and have a 40 commute where I don't listen to a Disney podcast. And then even if I'm not listening to a Disney podcast, it's Disney music that I'm listening to, whether it be scores or just park music in general. Having that kind of gets you motivated, or even if you're I can be in blocks sometimes where I can't think of anything creatively. So it helps having things around you. Megan actually bought me for Christmas a bunch of Disney books. The Disney theme parks poster book, the park maps poster,
and then the art of the Disney golden.
The golden books.
Yeah,
the golden books. And then even going to the Disney store itself, it's the closest thing for us, but
constant.
Yeah, y'all's Disney store though is good. Especially you got the gallery up there. Our Disney store here is weak. I know maybe if you're from this area, y'all the listeners, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we got two Disney stores. We got Ingram Mall and we got North Star Mall. North Star Mall is decent. Ingram Mall, I'm just I tell my wife, if they would just hire me, I would make this so much better. I'm like,
Ingram Mall's not that great to begin with. I actually went to UTSA for a year, so I kind of know the area.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Houston does have definitely a nice mall there, especially with Disney being there. But I always found that interesting because, like I said, there's so much knowledge out there, and sometimes it's easy to get lost in it. And then I look at accounts like yourself, and I don't know, maybe you did, take some courses or whatever to learn how to grow the social media. But what I mean to say is, you looking at accounts like yourself and other accounts, I see real people doing real things. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes these, big wigs that want to help out, they're saying they'll teach you how to gain, exposure, or they'll teach you how to get tons of followers. And I'm like, does that really do anything though? Because then when you look at, accounts like yours, Main Street Press, and like I said, D-Lifestylers, and all these other people, I'm like, you guys are actually connecting. There's comments flowing on your actual posts. There's, people who are actually interacting. And I have so much, I'm always in awe with stuff like that, because I'm like, everybody has a life that they're doing. So for you to take out time to interact with these people on social media is a huge deal. Even though it may not seem like a big deal, it's a really big deal. Because
that's a big thing with us. We love interacting with our followers, our customers, our friends. I think that's one of the big things as to why we actually feature our customers, because we love when you guys send us great pictures, and we love seeing you guys enjoy the parks or even enjoy it at home.
Yeah. One of the things that makes us so happy is actually getting feedback from customers. We've gotten many emails like telling us how just their life story and how our shirt just getting our shirt and how they incorporated in that, like how it helped them or brought back memories. So that's actually really
a big thing for us.
Yeah, we love that so much, and we're so thankful for it.
That's awesome.
I know when we first started this, I was so obsessed, oh my gosh, we need to get so many followers, but now I was just well, I just came to a realization. I was like, well, Justin's products are good, they're good quality, so I thought, whenever people realize that Justin's quality is good and it's not something cheap, the followers will end up coming, and they did.
That really is one of the toughest things to kind of accept when you're doing this. Especially because you hear pay for Facebook ads and Instagram ads and and it's funny because it's easy to kind of go down that rabbit hole, and just like you said, myself, I was the same way, where I just thought okay, I need this and this, and what was funny is it was working. I was getting likes and stuff, but then I realized nobody's caring, nobody's paying attention, nobody's talking with me. Why does it matter if I have this? And I think that's why Instagram and Twitter, those two have been so huge to me, because I've been able to interact with people in such a more personal way than just, trying to figure out a way to get more likes or more thumbs up in a post. It's able to really interact with people. So I definitely understand where you're coming from there. And I think that's important for the listeners to know that you guys are real people. You're not scamming a system or nothing. You are there. You're talking with them. So that's really awesome. So what was your original motivation to actually start Walts Wardrobe? Because I know you kind of gave a little bit of background, and you were saying, especially you, Justin, you were going to engineering school and stuff. But still, I mean, that's a big jump to be all right, let's go ahead and get into apparel. So what was that kind of turning point?
It didn't happen overnight, for sure. But it was, we started going to the parks. We actually went to Walt Disney World together, back in 2011.
Yeah.
2011. And I had never been to Disney World, but living in California, I would always watch the Disney Channel commercials of the kids being able to go to the parks, and I was like, man, I wonder how that is. We only have one theme park here. They have 4. But we went together, and I was automatically hooked. I was like, this is crazy. There's so much to do.
But oh my goodness, Justin did his homework. When we first went, I haven't been in years, and I completely forgot the park. Justin knew exactly where to go. It's he just studied the map and knew the structure of every single park. It was insane.
But anyway, we started going into the parks, and then it was just trip after trip. We would go to Disney store and try to find outfits for which park we would wear it to and whatnot. And then after a while, we wanted something that was different. We started doing small shops. We started shopping with Happily Ever Tees.
Yeah.
And then we were just starting to realize, like, hey, like, we have a couple good ideas. What?
No, actually, let me rephrase that. I had no idea Justin wanted to start an apparel shop. I was at school, and Justin just sends me text messages of these designs, and I was like, oh, that's cute. What is it? What's this for? And he was just like, do you think this will look good on a shirt? And I was like, yeah, I guess. And then all of a sudden, Justin, like, I get home and Justin's like, I'm gonna try and start doing like my own shirt, like making my own shirts. And then I was freaking out. I was so, because were we already? Yeah, we were already engaged. So I was thinking, like, we were, right?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, we were already engaged. So I was like, oh my God, like, this is gonna be a lot of money. I'm in school, and like, I'm not in like a public school. I'm in a private school. So I'm like, that added more stress. I was like, oh goodness. So yeah, let me clarify that. I had no idea. This was all Justin.
I love that because she was probably thinking, Justin, like, it's not too late. I still have time. We're not married yet.
Oh no, never leave.
Funny you should say that, because I was thinking the opposite. I was like, man, this is gonna help for the wedding.
That's usually how it is. The guy thinks that way. Like, I'm the same way with my wife. I have all these creative ideas, and I get excited, and she just kind of rolls her eyes. I mean, we've been together for like 16 years now, so she knows. But she kind of rolls her eyes and like, okay, she knows that if it's really true, then it's gonna happen. If it is just a little phase I'm going through, then it'll just fizzle out. But oh, that's great. I love that. That's funny.
Oh yeah, I'm glad this wasn't phase.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just it was fine. We wanted new things for the parks, honestly. Like,
Justin needed it because all of his shirts were like the standard Mickey, like the ones that are just him posing with like his arms behind his back.
Yeah,
it's like on every single shirt for like men.
Yeah.
So he honestly, he needed that.
And what did you like start making them actually there at your house? Did you just design and get them made? What was kind of your process?
I remember the day, actually. I stopped by Best Buy. I bought the Photoshop Student Edition, and I was just like, all right, today's the day. Like, it's gonna happen. And then I just started designing. Back in high school, I do remember, like, I made like our group's homecoming shirts and prom shirts. So I knew a little, not a lot at all, but it just started with that. So basically, I design them through Illustrator and Photoshop, and then we actually have a couple good printers here in Texas or in Houston actually, that are great. And we work with them, and we just go through the process of designing what do we think would be good. One of my biggest things is always, if I like it, I'm not going to make something that I don't like, or that I feel like, oh, it's going to sell well, but I'm not passionate about it. That's a really big thing for me. So, but yeah, we design we do the designs, we figure out colors, we send it over to our printers, and they send us proofs, and it's kind of just like a back and forth trying to figure out how everything works. I actually do have a lot of help from my good buddies, Leo from Main Seat Press, and Aaron from the Lost Boys Club. The Lost Boys. Yeah, they help me out a lot because those guys are talented. I'm just like not even at a level as far as like graphic designing as they are, but I'm getting there.
That's awesome. So do you, because again, with the way you guys do y'all shops and stuff, because it's not, is your shop isn't open, or is it open completely throughout the year, or do y'all just close it and open it sometimes?
So we are like a ready to ship shop. So our store usually stays open unless we're going on like little trips. then we'll like, okay, we're going to close up shop. But for the most part, we like to stay open.
So how do you, oh, I'm sorry, to make sure what?
Oh, just to make sure like everyone can like get in some orders and stuff.
Yeah, because there are always customers who have last minute trips and
Yeah,
try things.
So then so do you guys prepare everything beforehand, or is it kind of a purchase and then y'all get it ordered, or do y'all have already stock there that you just say, okay, we have this many shirts and we're gonna sell these many shirts, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah, so we kind of do the latter. We have what we have on hand, then we put it on the website, and then once the orders start trickling in, then we'll start packing them, and then once we sell out, customers usually have to wait till it restock or whatnot.
So recently, I think we've been getting a little more traffic. So Justin's been having to just do restocks, and that's kind of how it's been working now. Just okay, like, hey guys, this is like what's restocking like this day, and that's usually how we run shop now, kind of. But we still remain open for like other like shirt designs that like the few that we have. So.
Yeah. And so what is your process like? How do you actually, design what you're doing? Because again, I have dabbled in this, and my goodness, is it terrible? Like, it's just so bad. I mean, in my head, it's like, this is genius, and then I go on trying to do it, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, it's just one of those things where you like delete immediately. Nobody should ever see this.
I am the same way. I tried helping out Justin once. The one time I did, and I thought, oh, okay, this is gonna be good. I tried making the Mickey hand, and it just, I don't know what happened. Like, lines weren't connected, and I was like, what is this? So I was like, I need to stick to the healthcare field.
So what is your process like, Justin, when you're doing this?
So I think the biggest part is just coming up with an idea that nobody's touched, because I always try not to step on other people's foots, as far as like other shops or even Disney itself, or even other like brands that do collaboration with Disney. So it's always trying to find something unique, something different, and then just double checking everything, searching online if it's actually done, whether it be like a movie quote or a song quote or whatever. And it's working out things like, honestly, there's designs that haven't even touched the day of light because I wasn't confident with it. Like, I'll go back to it maybe like in a month and try to figure it out, but not everything is a one-hit wonder, Yeah, the biggest thing is definitely finding the inspiration and then just fine tweaking it.
So that's what I was gonna say. Is it a lot of kind of trial and error where you say like, you're trying something out and then you realize, well, this kind of looks like this, or this kind of is too close resembled to this, or yeah, it doesn't look as good. Let's try to tweak it a little bit. Is it kind of that process, or are you literally, like, are you, in other words, are you locking yourself up in a room till 5 hours and say, I'm not getting out of here until I think of something new, or is it just something that kind of just hits you during the day and you say, that'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna mess with this, see what I can come up with.
Not necessarily doing it all at once.
Okay.
So I'll touch it like here and there. I still have like a day job, so that kind of hinders things. But whenever I'm driving, I'll try to think of ideas and try to remember it at least, because that's the hardest part. Is I'll go back to my head and just like, what did I think of? But it's little by little. And sometimes, I'll just like hop around between projects because sometimes I just get stuck on things. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
And how do you, now let's get into this part then. So how do you balance everything, right? Because again, you have a shop, you have a shop that's worth keeping open. So you guys got, customers, you have that running, you're in school, Megan, Justin, you're working. how are you guys able to balance this? And then I guess the bigger question, I know Megan, for you, you're like, no, I'm staying in school until I finish this. I don't know. But I mean, I guess the bigger question would be, are you guys looking to see of making this into a full-time kind of deal? Or is this just kind of we're having fun, part-time kind of deal and leaving it at that?
Yeah, I think once I actually graduate and I get a job as a nurse, I think Justin, this is like what he's going to do. He's just going to do both, I believe.
Oh my gosh. We got to be friends, guys. I got to tell you that right now. I've already told my wife that too. She's getting her job. I said, once you get your job, 3 years.
There's
3 years.
There's so many nursing jobs in Houston.
Oh, I got to tell you, yeah. Okay. That's a whole different conversation. We'll do that after the podcast. But so then, yeah, so this is something you really want to take kind of to the next level then. Especially you, Justin, once you are able to kind of get everything situated, you really want to kind of take this to a more of a professional style where this is your main focus.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've kind of actually like started the process slowly. I currently work at a retail store. It's called Suit Supply. Basically, sell suits for a living, which is actually a good thing because we're getting married in June and I get a free suit for my wedding. So
awesome. Congratulations too. That's cool.
Thank you. But I kind of like I've told them, like, hey, I've got my own thing. Like, can I bump to part time? So that happened recently, and then after that, is of course the next step, just leaving the company and working on Walts full time. So that's definitely something I do want to work on. And if not, Walts will definitely take me in a direction. And I already learned a lot, and I will learn a lot more about the industry, about the whole retail side of it. It's crazy how much I'm learning and how much I'm actually going through on how figuring out like how certain things get made. So this is definitely something that I'll be using in the future.
Yeah, I personally, as weird as it might sound, I personally really love retail because it did teach me that. It taught me really how to talk to people and be able to understand a customer and what they're wanting, what they're needing. And again, this is spooky because I'm doing the same thing. I actually, I'm leaving my full-time job and doing part-time at Best Buy. And and because the discounts unbelievable. No,
Yeah.
but I'm doing the same thing so I can focus more on this because this is something I want to do, full time. I want to be able to take this, the podcast and everything I'm doing in that sense, into a more full time thing. So, yeah, it's funny because you're saying all this, and I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one thinking this nonsense here.
It's scary for sure, because there's not really a fallback. I guess you could apply it to your job again, but it sure is scary. But I just feel like once you have your full concentration on it, that's when things get serious, and that's when things get going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely.
I was very scared that Justin was decided, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to part-time now, because I was like, well, wait, we still have 3 more payments for the wedding. But it worked out. He's doing really well. So.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna actually ask you next, because the hard thing is getting through that first kind of block, that first kind of real life situation. We realize, oh my gosh, if I want to do this next thing, I'm gonna have to let go of this. And something that I heard, and I love the saying, which is sometimes you gotta let go of something good to get a hold of something great. And that is the toughest thing to do, though, because you're like, it's good, I'm fine, everything's balanced, everything's good, we got a paycheck, we got a house over our head, don't rock the boat because it's something you feel like you want to do. Who cares? Who needs to be happy in life? Just do the 9 to 5. So It's funny because you say that, but that's so true. It's a very difficult thing. It's very scary because you realize you don't know the future, and even more scary, you're the one who's steering now. You know what I mean? It's not a company. It's not somebody else's responsibility to get you what you need. It's yours. and yet you are, tracking into unknown waters. So my next question was what do you guys do, to kind of break through these barriers that come, whether it's through school with RN, or even you, Justin, having to realize, if I want to be serious about this, I'm going to have to make some changes to take this a little more serious. What are some things to help you guys, that you guys do to push through that?
Well, so with me, it's hard because I'm in my last semester, and just whenever Justin was starting this, it was really hard too, because my classes they're difficult, and I thought I didn't want Justin to be like doing this all by himself. Mm-hmm. So I of course tried to like do as much as I can. But I knew, at least for me, I had to take a step back from it just because I needed to focus on school. But I still try to like help him pack orders, because that is a very strenuous job to do. So I don't want him doing that all by himself. But yeah.
I think with me, it definitely helps having Megan. Honestly, like, we're a combo. Like, without her, I don't think I would have had the confidence to do this. Whenever I feel doubt, I always have her to talk to, and it always helps for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
He also has Leo and Aaron. Honestly, I will wake up hearing Justin's phone go off and like try to go to sleep, and Justin's phone is going off, and I know it's just them.
It's good. In other words, it's good to have those people who support you in that way, I guess, huh? Because you're able to really talk to them, and they understand where you're coming from and your frustrations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, even if you don't have a significant other, it's great with the Disney community, just because everybody is so close-knit and everybody's always willing to help. I don't think we've met one bad person in the Disney community.
I love that you mentioned that. That is so true, and that's something that I really push for, because you're exactly right. It's what's funny about the Disney community to me that makes it so unique is that it's one of those things where people really just don't care who you are. They more care about what you can be, and they agree that Disney's awesome. They love Mickey Mouse, and they just sincerely want to have a spreading of joy. So it's like when you get into Disney community, it's funny because you're right. They don't ask you your full background, your mistakes that you've done, what kind of politics you believe. Like, it's just, you like Disney? Awesome. Let's talk Disney. And yep. I think that's what makes them so special, because, yeah, you're right. I mean, you can just have fun being able to talk with them.
Yeah, it's a good outlet.
For sure. Yes, for sure. Definitely. So what would you suggest then to somebody who wants to get into their own world, potentially of design? I love this question because I feel like, like I said, for somebody like me, I love that you said that you bought Photoshop, like the student edition. That's what I still have Photoshop Elements, I think 9. I'm not upgrading anytime soon. Like, that's it for me. So what would you suggest to somebody who maybe wants to get in their own thing, or maybe even opening their own shop? Because something that you guys do, of course, is you have your own shop and, your own website, and very professional and everything like that. So for a first timer, it might seem a little intimidating because they say, well, I can't do all that. But just like I always say, nobody started knowing everything, Mm-hmm. Everybody had to take certain steps to get where they're at. So what would you suggest? This is more of a technical question, more of the, nitty gritty behind the scenes stuff, to somebody who's looking into wanting to start their own kind of store in the online world.
Etsy.
Honestly,
Etsy.
We started off Etsy, and that was great. Like, Etsy helped for sure. It was a good way to get our foot in the water. But right now we're running on Shopify, which is even better. It kind of establishes us as our own brand, and not part of the Etsy community. But I think with starting off is definitely having a vision, not necessarily a business plan or anything like that. Because I know, like, I've been through business school, and they tell you have to have that, but I didn't have that. But for sure, having a vision, knowing where you want that to go. With us, it's a big thing starting out was definitely not getting knocked down. We started our shop last year, just about last year. We just hit our year mark.
Yeah.
And the first month we were open, we didn't have a sale. Like, I was so worried. I was just like, how was it?
I was completely stressed out. I was trying to get all my classmates to buy a shirt. I was so stressed, but
But yeah, it's definitely
it's a lot of hard work.
for sure. And not letting that get to you. And then another big thing is definitely having people around us having the same ideas as you. So definitely having those people to talk to and kind of going through those same trial and tribulations with you. And then another big thing with me is having your heroes, whether it be just brands that are already out there, like with I was a sneakerhead earlier in my life, and I grew up like loving streetwear fashion, having brands, and kind of seeing where they grew and where they started from. I don't know if you know a guy named Johnny Cupcakes. He has his own brand, and
I've heard of him.
Seeing everything that he did, I was just like, man, like that's what I want to do, or that's having somebody to look up to and just kind of helping you through that path is a really big thing. And then lastly is being passionate about it, because customers can definitely see when there's no passion in it. And that's a really big thing.
Yeah, we never wanted to do this for just like money.
For the money, for the followers, it was kind of our own thing, for sure.
But money's so fun and fame is so fun. What do you mean?
Money pays for Disney, right?
Exactly. No, I love that. I love what you said there too, because you said something which, of course, like you said, if you've gone to business school, I mean, they tear their hair out. But you said something that's so true. Don't have a business plan. Think about where you want to be, what you want to be doing. That's so different, because a business plan is something that's cold. It leaves out the people. It's very number oriented, very like, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is what I'm going to do, and this. Whereas when you look and envision yourself where you want to be, that's different, because you're right. You just looked at some of the other brands that you've looked up to, and you said, that's how I want to do it. That's how I want to, live in that way where I can create things and be able to share them with other people. And that's a huge mindset, to have, because most of us are brought up, well, actually it's the majority of us who go to school are brought up with the idea of, this is what you need to do in order to get to this level. And what I love about having people like you guys on is you prove that's not true. You prove that, you can actually do it with passion. You can actually do it with some work. And it's not to say it's going to be easy, but it doesn't have to be, the black and white that we're being told that it has to be. And that if you don't do it, you'll never be successful. So that's awesome. I'm so pumped and excited, because you guys are, like I said, it's weird because it's like you guys are like me, younger version. It's but now it is time to get into the Disney Power Round.
And now it's time for the Disney Power Round, where we talk favorite parks, tips, and tricks for your magical Disney trip. Let's bibbity-bobbity do this.
Yay!
What is your favorite park, and what is one thing you love about it?
Okay.
Okay, so my favorite park would be DCA, Disney California Adventure. It's just because, like I said earlier, I grew up going to Disney World, so I know Magic Kingdom, I know Animal Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood, or back then MGM, but I never there was nothing like DCA at Disney World. So going there, Justin took me for the first time, I think back in 2012, and I fell in love. I loved everything about it. So I think my favorite part there would be
Cars Land.
Yeah, Cars Land.
Cars
And then
Land.
my second favorite part in that area is Paradise Pier. But I love Cars Land. I loved how immersed in everything that like everything Cars themed, and it's great. I just love that.
Now, see, but your answer makes me a little nervous, Megan, because I have yet to hear somebody, I believe, on the show say opposite of what you said. Everybody who loves Disney World, but once they visit Disneyland, it's like different. They're like, they love it so much in a different way. And I'm like, I've never been to Disneyland. I'm hoping to go. We're still planning to go this year for D23. But I'm a little scared because I'm like, then what if I don't go back to Disney World? I'm never going to go back.
No, so Disneyland, well, for me, coming from someone that is a Disney World girl, at first I was like, whoa, what is this? There's not the town of like Disney, like, you know, when you go to Disney World, like, you are no like
it's
no
Disney.
No outside city. But there it's just like, oh, okay, there's these like random hotels, random like restaurants, like so it's not
immersive.
Yeah. Like you're not immersed in the magic. But I just DCA is like that's where it's at for me.
Awesome. All right. Okay. And what about you, Justin?
Joseph, you're gonna hate my answer, but my answer is Disneyland.
Come on.
I think with Disneyland, it's just the fact that Walt was there. Walt did all of that, or not all of it, but I mean, he did the majority of it. He walked those streets. He walked that main street, and then the rides I feel are better. Pirates is so much longer. They've got Indiana Jones, which is awesome. If you ever go to Disneyland, that's your beeline. You've got to go there first.
Go there. Awesome. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm excited to finally eventually go. And I think mostly for the same reason that you said, Justin, though, too. It's the idea of the fact that, like, dude, somebody actually thought of this and then did it. Like, that's crazy. Like, how many of us have thought of ideas and thought, like, nah, that's dumb. That'll never happen. That's too weird or that's too crazy. And I'm like, this dude thought of a literal town in the sense of Main Street. He thought about Adventureland and Fantasyland, and then even went further to now say, I'm going to create Disney World with Epcot and everything like that. And like, it actually happened. So I think that's what I look forward to at Disneyland as well, kind of where I just get to realize, like, this is where Walt actually was. Like, he lived here for a little while. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, Disneyland is filled with so much history. You'll be walking down main streets and you'll see everybody's windows. You'll see Rolly Crump, all the big time Imagineers. It's great.
Looking forward to that. Okay, so then what would be your tip for that first time Disney goer?
So my first time trip okay. So if it's like in the budget or if I guess money wasn't an option, I would say having a car at Disney World just because we've stayed at a good majority of hotels down in Disney World, and I remember our first time ever going to Disney World, we stayed at an all-star resort, and the bus lines for that, it was insane. We would have to always wait for 2-3 buses would pass and we still wouldn't be on it. So just having a car, I think is, I don't know. I think it's just.
No, I remember those days. I know what you're talking about.
So I would say, even though it's like pretty pricey, I think if you end up staying at like a value or a moderate hotel, I think it's kind of worth it just because you get to bypass another line in Disney.
Yeah. Well, they did add other buses. On our last trip, we got to see the buses in action. So, yeah, you're right. The buses used to they were terrible. I mean, not to be mean to Disney, but they were terrible. I mean, you're right. We'd be standing there for 30, 45 minutes, and you would see, what was more frustrating was this. You would see like 3 buses come for the same resort with no line. Nobody's in that line.
Yes.
You're the one that's all packed like sardines waiting for a bus, and only one would come like every 30 minutes. Oh, so frustrating. But Disney has since now added a bus for every resort, and you can go from the park straight to the resort. You don't have to do the whole, I'm going from Magic, and now I got to stop at All Star, and then I got to stop at Pop Century before I get to mine. Now everyone can go to each resort. So this last trip we went, it was the first time they actually had it, and except for one night, it was a really good experience. There was only one night where it was that same thing where you're thinking exactly what you just said, like, why didn't I just rent a car? If I rented a car, I'd be asleep by now. I'm having to wait now.
But we think that like Disney World has been doing or is trying to do this like new Uber thing. I don't know if that was just for a weekend, but I was like, whoa. That's new.
Yeah, that's interesting. They're going to be doing basically you pay a little extra and they kind of take you directly from the park to the next park or where you want to go, but you don't have to do the whole line thing. The only thing that I've heard kind of that is like iffy about it, or not say iffy, but like because it goes more of your park hopper. If you're doing a park, I don't think it's available to you. I think it's only available if you're actually with a park hopper ticket. So if you're just going for that one day, so but they're trying, I guess. We'll give you a little credit, Disney. Yeah. All right, Disney, a little credit. So what about you, Justin? Then what would be your tip for your first time Disney goer?
Oh, mine's simple. Free water. The free water at any of the counter service restaurants. I remember our first trip, we bought bottled water because we had no idea, and kind of like tallied up all the receipts for water, and it was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the free water, that's a big thing.
Yeah, when I went alone in September to Food and Wine, and I had a huge headache. It was so hot, and I kept buying waters because for some reason I thought I was the guy from Monopoly or something, and and. Yeah, you're right. I tied up. I think I spent like $32 on water. It was disgusting. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Dasani is not worth that much money." It was ridiculous. So I even though I'm over here giving advice and telling people like to either buy your own bottled water or water's free. I got suckered in and I was just buying waters like it was a party or something, and it was bad. Not fun at all when you got that bill. So, no, I agree with that for sure. So then what would be your tip for that person who goes multiple times to Disney?
Multiple times.
I think for us, it would probably be trying something new. We always try to do something new just to keep, just so it's not the same old routine at Disney World, which is totally fine. We could do that all day.
Yeah.
We could do that every trip, but we always try to find something new to do.
Or something new to eat.
Yeah,
we eat a lot at Disney.
That's what you're supposed to do at Disney.
Calories don't count at Disney.
Exactly. Oh, that's a good shirt design. We already got it
now. Yeah, it's definitely trying something new. And then especially like Disney's just making it too easy now. They've got new things happening like every weekend, so that's great.
For sure. You agree with that, Megan, or do you have another one you'd like to throw in there?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that too. And food is always something worth. I mean, if anything else, you can try something new when it comes to food, like for sure. So that's for sure true. So, you guys, I've had so much fun having you on, and I thank you so much for being on. You guys just are exciting. I'm excited for you because I'm like, oh my gosh. You are like right there. Like you're gonna pass your RN school.
Thank you.
You're gonna crush it, and Justin's gonna be like in the most professional and nicest way See you later. I'm out. Peace. Thank you. Gonna focus full time on Walts Wardrobe. It's gonna be awesome. So why don't you let everybody listening know where can they find you? You know, your store, links, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. What's the best place for people to find out more about Walts Wardrobe?
So our Instagram handle is Walts Wardrobe, and then our actual shop is walts-wardrobe.com. So that's where you can find us on there. We're thinking about making a Facebook, so maybe we can get interact more with those there. We're thinking about maybe making a Twitter account, but at the same time, I'm like, now we wouldn't really be great because that would be like, I'm about to start an IV or something like that.
You're starting the IV and you just hear the little whistle though. I can't whistle because I'm sick, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, so those are the two handles that we have, and then I think that's about it.
Now, obviously, guys, I want you guys to go check this stuff out. It'll be in the show notes. Check out their merchandise. Really great, good stuff. And, of course, follow them on Instagram because they always share all these cool little things from their shop, but also their story. I think didn't y'all just do a giveaway? Or no? That was a little while ago, right?
It's tonight, actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it tonight? Yeah. So, yeah, you guys want to make sure to follow them on Instagram. Now, I know you kind of went over something like this already, but before we leave, I do like to let the guests kind of just give that that big old, word of encouragement, advice. I always say, maybe it's something you wish you heard. So, put yourself in the listener position. You're hearing somebody who's doing what, you're hoping to do one day. What would be some encouraging words or advice you'd like to leave them?
I would say for me, don't stress about little things. So I know, even though I said little things and I'm about to say money, don't stress about money. Money to most people is not a little thing, but still, if this is something that you really want, you might need to put in a little money into it. But if people see that you're super passionate about what you're doing, they're going to end up buying what you're putting out. So don't be afraid to spend a little.
And then I think for the listeners, I would probably just say, be passionate and confident. Because definitely your customer base will see both of those. If you are passionate and confident about your product and yourself, the customers will definitely see that, and it helps a lot.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being on today. I'm really happy, like I said, you guys joined me, and I look forward to having you guys on again, telling me about a whole new chapter of Walts Wardrobe being full-time and Megan saving lives as an RN. Looking forward to you guys again coming back on, and I look forward to hopefully being able to meet you one day at a Disneyland or a Disney World, or maybe, we're 3 hours away, so maybe that too. So.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining me today.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
So Megan said something that really kind of tickled my ears, I guess you would say. I was kind of impressed by what she said, because she said something I think a lot of people, stray from. And it's an important piece. It's not necessarily, a piece that everybody needs, but it's one that I think is important in one way or another. And that is, you might have to invest. You might have to use some money. And the reason why I bring this up is because, I'm going to use, again, what I'm doing, right? My weight loss thing. So let's say my weight loss. I sat there and said I want to lose weight over and over and over again. Yet I did nothing for it. Then I went to the gym. I started using money monthly for the gym. But what was crazy was, for me, that just didn't necessarily work, because I was always able to find an excuse that I couldn't go to the gym like I was supposed to. It didn't take, nothing changed until I bought equipment for my home. Because I said to myself, and, I realized, what excuse could I use if it's in my home? I can't say, well, it's raining outside, I can't drive. Well, that's not true, because It's in my home. You can't say, well, I can't do it because, I can't, necessarily work out because of my clothes I have. They're not the best, workout clothes. Well, that's not true. It's in my home. Like, there was no excuse I could use. And that's why I invested in my own, equipment. I bought my own bench. I bought my own weights. I bought my own bar. I bought my own treadmill. And, it took money. It wasn't necessarily, cheap. But I also could be honest with myself and say, this is what I need and this is what's going to work. And it's been working. And I think that's what makes a big difference, because whatever it is you're doing, whether it's podcasting, blogging, I'm not saying to go off and spend, $1 million and try to get, just because you're trying to get exposure, but you might need to invest in yourself, and you can't be afraid to do it. Even if that means saving a little extra money from every paycheck, whether that means you need a better computer, maybe you need to take some classes on learning so you can write better, maybe some equipment for your videos, like whatever it is, you can't be afraid to stray from that, and understand that you need to invest in yourself. And the good thing is, when you invest in yourself in that way, along with the advice that Justin gave about being passionate and confident in your product, or whatever it is you're doing, you're going to see a difference. And that difference isn't going to just be for your eyes only. It's going to be seen by everybody. Everyone who's seeing what's going on with your own life is going to notice. And so if you are, investing in, let's say, your own weight loss gym for your room, people are going to notice when they start seeing a difference in your weight. Let's say you're starting to do, podcasting, and you actually publish your own podcast. Guess what? People are going to notice when they're able to download your podcast. I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't know how to do, to be able to record. And when you put up a video and you say, yeah, check out my YouTube channel, and they're able to see it there, they're going to notice it. And so those two things to me go hand in hand. You can't be afraid to take a chance on yourself, whether it's through, like I said, investing a little bit of money in yourself, or even investing time that it needs, like schooling or simply exercising an hour a day, every day, to try to get to a weight that you want to be at. So it's important to understand that those two kind of go hand in hand. It's not just about being passionate. It's about investment as well. It's about putting those two together. And when you put them together and you actually, do those two together, where you're being passionate and you're working toward a goal and you're investing the time and energy and sometimes even money into that goal, that's when you're going to see a change. And the reason why I can confidently say that, I can 100% confidently say that, you might say, well, like, Joseph, you're not doing it. You don't make a living off this. And yeah, you know what? Right now, I'm not at that level. But the reason why I can confidently say that is because majority, pretty much every single person that we've had on this show on Sundays is either right at that spot or have gone past that and are doing it. We look at Lou, we look at Panda, we look at Corinne, we look at Main Street Press, and now we look at Walts Wardrobe, where he just said, look, as soon as she finishes school, it's a whole new world for me. I'm focusing on the store. And what do you think that is? That's investment. What do you think he's putting in right now? Time. And that to me is what excites me. That's what excites me about talking with Justin and Megan, because it's something that I think, like I said, I don't think we've ever had anyone on the show actually say something like that. And it's a scary thing to say, because you say, I don't want to use money. I don't want to use necessarily time. I just want it to happen. But unfortunately, you got to think of it differently. Don't think of it as a waste. Think of it as an investment. Once you think of it that way, it changes, because now an investment is something that you are basically borrowing and you're going to pay back. And you're going to pay it back tenfold. And that's going to either be through whatever goal you set of your weight loss, or whatever goal you set financially for your own business. Whatever it is, that's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to make, the investment that you're making worth it. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you got some inspiration and encouragement. Be sure to share it with any of your loved ones and friends, because I know earlier I said, best way for you to help the podcast. And I have to refrain from, train myself, stop saying that, because really the best way to help the podcast, if you're wanting to help the podcast, is sharing it. Share it with your friends and family and loved ones. Let them know that this is what we do, for sure, every Sunday. They don't have to be concerned anymore about Monday through Friday. It's okay, just Sunday. And, share it that way. I hope you guys have a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're listening to this. And as always, stay magical.
This was the Talk About the Magic podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay magical.